Thank you very much for viewing this instructional design video in relation to an assignment. The question is, how can lecturers better improve their assessment design? So this is what I'm looking at in this video. First of all, if we go to Design Australia, Instructional Design Australia, we can see that these are some of the purposes of instructional design. One of them is to create program evaluation tools, develop learning material. I've created a video of that, and creating engaging and impactful learning experience, develop less assessment in line with learning objectives. So we have these three items here, the blue, the red, and the green. All right. So let's go back to our page and reflect on this assignment. So firstly, you will see that the date is wrong. Today is the 20th of May 2024, and the assessment deadline is the 2nd of June 2023, which is not the current year. So the lecturer hasn't even spent time looking at the due date for this assignment. Because we're in May, it's 1 month away from, well, it's actually a couple of weeks away, really. So let's look at the rest. Overview and purpose. If we look at the second line, this portfolio represents a repository to share and utilize in your practice as a researcher. So it's really student focused, right? Well, let's look at the learning outcome. The learning outcome states, reflect on and actively build a profile and reputation as a researcher and HDR supervisor. So these don't really align because it's either a repository or it's a profile to build my reputation, right? Now the repository is for me to build, right? Building my reputation is completely something different. It has nothing to do with collecting resources. It has to do with explaining myself. All right, let's look at another thing. It's 1,500 words, all right? So we have how many in the task description? We have, in general terms, 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 times 500, that's 1,500 words. But here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 topics or subheadings. And that means that 500 words divided by 6 topics brings it down to about 85 words per item. So in terms of achieving something that is extensive, all right, it's not quite possible. To be extensive would be to be writing a book, for example, all right? This is to display all your learning. So again, this aligns with this portfolio represent a repository. So the next line, this assignment is designed to display all your learning in the unit captured. So it's a summary again, right? As well as other useful resources. Resources would be, for example, reference sections and articles. Well, there you go. Reference sections you have found. Okay. So these again are not quite clear. It's a lot of task for just 1,500 words, and it makes it complicated. The resource section alone or the reference section alone can come up to 500 words per section. So it needs to be reflected on. And that's in terms of instructional design. That's what lecturers need to consider, is what is their exact request, because then it becomes a confusion and a conflicting assignment. It contradicts itself, or it doesn't provide a clear direction for the students to be able to aim at. And what we want to achieve as lecturer is to actually provide successful achievements that are achievable. Now let's look at something else. So here I have created assessment task 4. Right? So I've tried to achieve these particular goals. So I contacted my lecturer and I said, have a look at this, provide me with some feedback. Originally, I had assessment 4. So here I had assessment 1, assessment 2, assessment 3, and assessment 4. The advice was to actually reword these to make them more helpful, which I can understand. From a student point of view, I just want to meet the targets for each assessment. But from a lecturer point of view, they want a little bit more creative thinking in relation to your design. So the first one was the portfolio review. So I'm writing this here. Then I had to have a look at PhD supervision issues. Then I had to look at the well-being of students. And then this one is I'm not very sure. So I need to work on this particular title here. So statement of goal and philosophy is there. I have to choose a suitable topic that's there. I give some links to definitions, a link to an article that I've written, ethical clearance, and I provide a reference section. So from my point of view, the rubric is met. All right. Same here, HR objectives, qualities of PhD supervisor, and resources. So this can be expanded upon because it's supervision issues, so I can do that. This one hasn't been finished. Statement of goal. An example of an article that I've written. All right. And then assessment task 4, HDR supervision resources. So that's the resources that they wanted us to ask. The image is probably not appropriate, but that's the closest that I could find for these sections. So, and here we have a list of resources with a summary, the video, okay, mental health, and resources. So to me, the rubric seems to have been met. Now let's look at the rubric to see how we are marked. So assessment task 4 only has 3 sections for grading, right? Address a vital problem. That's not even aligned with the rubric. We've read the rubric and it doesn't align with addressing a vital problem, right? We could say that mental health is a vital problem, but it's questionable. Collate valuable and valid information. I've provided articles and resources that relate to the topic that I have been studying in this whole unit, and easy to apply to many researchers. Now, I don't understand how this aligns with building a reputation. I really don't. Either I build my reputation or I help researchers with their own PhD supervision. But let's look at this one because it's the easiest. Exemplary high distinction. The resource will save many HDR candidates or supervisors considerable time or effort. Time and effort doing what exactly? This resource is relevant to many fields. I can understand that this resource is relevant to many fields, which could be, for example, PhD supervision, lecturers in education, lecturers in science, biotechnology, chemistry, allied health, doctors. I can understand that sentence, but really, the first one, the resource will save many HDR candidates or supervisors considerable time or effort. Doing what? Doing their research, suffering and experiencing mental health issues, or developing their career, or maintaining a good relationship, a healthy relationship in their family, maintaining a healthy relationship with their HDR supervisor so that they complete their PhD on time. What exactly is this looking at? Because this does not provide direction. It's also subjective. Right? It's subjective to a person's interpretation of the actual statement. So in this video, what we've looked at is Instructional Design Australia, the suggestions or summary that they have, okay, which and we've looked at create engaging and impactful learning experiences. We've looked at the assessment and create program evaluation tools. So we've looked at that in this video, and the outcome was that the assessment was not the most effective. Thank you very much for watching this video that attempts to demonstrate my ability to reflect on instructional designs and how things could be improved for delivering learning material online to students. This was an educational video for entertainment purposes only, for reflection purposes only, and I leave it up to you to decide your preference with designing effective assessing. Thank you.